Sugar. Universally positive ratings. Apple TV Plus original. I watch on Apple TV Plus. Colin Farrell, Amy Ryan. Kirby Hyle Batiste is credited as just Kirby. I only know who she is because I haven't seen it. I haven't listened to it in a while. But I do listen to the Good Place podcast. Like I started watching or listening to that in the summer. Excuse me, and I've just been listening every single time. I've been listening just at random different times. Um, like years after I finished the show. So that's the reason why I know who she is. But between her being on there, which I think was 2018, and now she's for some reason just changed her name to Kirby. My voice says I don't even know what the fucking term would be, but it's fucking up. Anyway, James Cromwell, that guy who I've seen in a bunch of things that kind of reminds me of Richard Hammond because of the hair and the goatee. Adrian Martinez. It's really good. Like it's it's not a fan of old films, but problem with noir is that a lot of noir shit is from like the 40s, so I don't watch a lot of it. I thought this would have took place in like the 50s or something, but no, actually it takes place in modern day, and it works really well. I can't think of anything else to say. Intro looks like it was made by AI. It reminds me of the intro for Secret Invasion. But the thing with like the difference between this and Secret Invasion is that because of the way that AI used to work back then, I know it was only less than a year ago, but AI has improved drastically since then. Back then, you could tell that the intro was made by AI because of how jittery it is. It kind of looks like it's data moshing a lot, which it probably is. And the intro for Sugar looks like that, but they're sort of like Secret Invasion Disney did it because they're lazy. I don't know why Apple did it. Maybe it was laziness. Maybe it was the strikes could have affected it somehow. But I mean, with Secret Invasion, it feels a bit fitting because it's all about the scrolls, and you don't know who's a scroll and who's human, and it somewhat works like that. But there's nothing like this in Sugar, so it doesn't really work. Final review: 5 Days Memorial. I started this just after I finished The Mentalist with my granda, because I'm just gonna get through this as briefly as I can. I started watching TV with him around the start of 2019. It started with White Collar, sped through that because it's my favourite show. Then I did, between then and start of lockdown, I had no sort of consistency. It would have been like Prison Break, Breaking Bad, Arrow, CSI, Prison Break, Arrow, Breaking, just that it went like that until lockdown started, and then One Castle as well. And then after lockdown ended, finished Castle, finished Arrow, Breaking Bad, and Prison Break. I'd already finished before Corona, but without him. I'm not gonna get into why. Finished those that well, but like it was back to being inconsistent. Well, it was inconsistent even then, or inconsistent. inconsistent. And then like it was inconsistent until September 2022 when they put NCIS on Disney Plus, and from then until June, it was nothing but NCIS, no inconsistencies. Then from then till November 2023, 24. Then in November, just did it in like a week or two. The Vandalist, and then like I got Prime at the start of November because Invincible season 2 was coming out, and I was planning on watching it with Dylan and Ginger as soon as it released, but that just never happened. But I was like, right, obviously I don't want this going to waste, so we'll see what's on here that my grand would like, and decide on the Mentalist. But then by the time we finished the Mentalist, I had Apple, so I was like, I'm gonna keep Prime as long as I can. But Apple, that's finite, so I want to find something that he'll like. And the very first thing I tried was 5 Days with Memorial. Watched first episode that day. I'm sorry about that. Did the initial review on the same day. I think he liked it, but it's just too scary for him, which I get. Then I went on and did other things like Telling Me Grey, which I think that was the last Apple FR did. But I think it was after Telling Me Grey, but it doesn't feel like it. Feels like the last time I watched this was December. I watched for the next 4, so just the 5 days, because it's an 8 episode thing, and the last 3 are just the aftermath. It's great, but don't get me wrong, it's a good thing that nothing worse happened, because, well, I get the 45 day, but I episodes 3 or 4, it made you feel like that, they were going to load a patient onto one of the choppers, but the like beams that hold up the helipad are so rickety that I thought what was going to happen was that they'll try and load someone on and it will just collapse, so everyone who's there will die. And although that is a good thing because it's based on a true story, so good thing that, one, they're not overplaying it for dramatic effect, and 2, no one died in real life, at least no one there. I don't know why I took a break. I think what it might have been was that I was like, right, I want to catch up on everything that at the time I hadn't caught up on, like Percy Jackson and all that, and also mostly Invincible because it wasn't that far away from part 2 of season 2 releasing. But I came back to it. I watched an episode on Thursday. I started one on Saturday, and then finished it yesterday. And then I watched the last one today. I think, it's great that they sort of expanded on it. It kind of reminds me of like in Red Dead, where it doesn't end on John's death. You play for a bit as Jack, and it kind of reminded me of that. That guy, the investigator, during those 3 episodes, his acting is a little weird. I don't know if the accent he uses in that show is his natural accent, but if it isn't, I feel like he's... I don't even know, but it just... I'm not going to do an impression of the accent, but I will do an impression of his mannerisms, if that makes sense. Well, not an... I'm just rambling. He's a bit squeaky and a bit loud. And he just comes off as a very nervous, clumsy fool, which he isn't. But if you were to hear his voice, that's what you would think. Really bad acid reflux right now. I wasn't expecting it to be that Anna had euthanized them as the main theory as to why 45 people ended up dead. But I did no research beforehand, and usually I accidentally learn some spoilers. Like, I've been reading the Far Cry book, and I wanted to look up if this character, like the main character in the book, exists in the game. Turns out she does, and then it like the Far Cry wiki page, it revealed that a main character from the book is dead. And because that main character, as far as I remember, doesn't appear in the game, it's gonna happen in the book. Unless they reference it in the game or something like that, but I doubt they would. I'm thinking of Vera Farmiga exclusively as a Scream Queen. I get that she's done non-horror related things before, like The Departed and the Hawkeye show, but just... like... I don't know if I said this in my initial review, but I could see why she did it. Like, if she's looking at it through the lens of a Scream Queen, because it is, like, a full-on fucking horror, at least for the first 5 episodes. And then when, you think that maybe she euthanized 45 people, it could have been her, like, wanting to play a villain for once. The only other thing I think that there is for me to say is that, I did media studies, and excuse the rattling, I'm fucking about with my wallet. No, don't. And it fell. Great. Part of media studies was studying the music video for... I forget the name of it, but it's Formation. The Formation music video by Beyonce. And what we learned in our quotes is that basically the government did nothing about Katrina because they hate black people. And I find that kind of weird because, we as a liberal society ridiculed Kanye West when he said George Bush doesn't care about black people. But in media, like, they say they're not biased, but they are biased. They agreed 100% with Kanye West, Oh, George Bush, like, did nothing because the majority of the population in New Orleans is black. As I think, I don't know if it's the majority or it's just, like, they're close to it, but, lots of blacks. But I mean, let's say New Orleans had a 100% black population, no white people whatsoever. And, there was a scene where they had shown the president's helicopter or plane, whatever, flying over New Orleans. And, someone looked at it and flipped them off. But, I mean, what I want to know is what, government didn't do anything. What do you think the government should have done? And I don't mean like, help. Like, how should they have helped? And then, if someone gives me a response, I don't know. Build better dams or like because that's something that they'd say at the end of the show, that it's like structural instability in, I don't think it was a dam, but it was something like that that caused the flooding. But let's just say it was a dam. Like, build better dams. Why didn't they build better dams? I know that they have eventually, but why didn't they before Katrina? And I mean, if we go back to before we knew Katrina was coming, then I think that's fair. It's not like, unless it was sort of obvious that it would make it prone to flooding, I don't see a problem with that. But like, when we know Katrina is coming, that's when they should have improved the dams. Um, but just they're showing that they have one black doctor, and all the security guards were white, and there was a scene where a bunch of people who just so happened to be black were in a boat, and they wanted shelter in Memorial, and the guards turned them away. And this black doctor is saying that they turned them away only because of the color of their skin. But there's no proof of that. It's not like they were, saying turn around before you get shot, N-word. It was just, fuck off. But no evidence of it being racist, and also there is sort of a justification for it, because I mean, they were overpopulated as is. Adding more people does not help, even if they were to bring their own supplies. So overall, great show, and they sort of exposed, at least to me, some flaws within people's thinking about the event and like of Katrina.